Recording in progress.
Yes. Squad Unbreakables, good morning. So, today's training is going to build on from how to lead, not live, your best life, part 1 and 2. So, if you are watching this right now as a client and you haven't watched the last 2 videos, please do go back and watch them because they completely lead on from each other. So we discussed the first pillar of leadership was values. So getting ultra clear on what you value and also what your priorities are. Not you guys, because you're obviously here, but this is a really good example for me to use to relate it to you guys when you can maybe think, yeah, actually, talking a bit of codswallop in my own head there, as my nan would say. So the best description I used that I've heard to describe it with values and priorities, going off on a tangent already, is the tip of the iceberg analogy. So if it's I'm going to relate it to coaching, i.e. my coaching plan, but it could be a coaching plan, it could be anything. I've actually planned a really funny Facebook post for this, which is going to trigger a lot of people, but hey ho, we're not here to be liked, are we? We're here to have an impact on people's lives. So when a person says, I can't afford that, 999 times out of 100, what they mean is either I don't value what you're trying to sell me, or I don't see enough value in it, i.e. the person hasn't provided enough value or shown how valuable the coaching is, for example. Because you have to think about it, the amount of people that approach me and they are virtually at rock bottom. They're overweight, they're struggling with their mental health, they're struggling with their career, they're struggling with weight gain, they're struggling with not having confidence, they're struggling with everything. But a lot of them have fake tits, a lot of them have Range Rovers, a lot of them have mortgages, a lot of them go on holiday once a year, a lot of them spend money on bottles of Grey Goose in bars with stupid fucking sparklers sticking out of them to bring attention to themselves and how much pretend money they've got. Yet when it comes to investing in the thing that they've just spent an hour telling me how unhappy it makes them, oh no, I'm going to have to think about that. That's a lot of money, that. I'm not sure I can afford that. So it's like mental when you think about it. It's a human that how could they not afford, let's say, random figure, £300 a month on their mental health, but they've got a mortgage? Because the mortgage was important to them. It was a priority. How could they not afford £300 a month on coaching, but they've spent £7,000 on a banging set of fake tits? Because the fake tits were important to them. How could they afford £120 on top of the £1,000 holiday to go to Marbella to try and pretend they've got money that they haven't and invest in a sparkler in top of a Grey Goose to try and impress other people and draw attention to themselves, but they couldn't afford coaching? That is one of the best descriptions I've used for values. They just don't value it. They can talk shit all day long about how unhappy they are and how they need help, but the reason they're so unhappy is because they don't actually value that thing. They value other stuff. And then we also talked about priorities. So again, if this hits home with you and triggers you, great, but when people say, I don't have time, that's again the top of the iceberg. Just like I can't afford it at the top of the iceberg. It's a very small bit. And when you go under the surface level, it's a very, very different story. So I don't have time means it's not a priority. I can't afford it means I don't value it. And when you look below, again, any single person, right, who claims not to have time to be able to train, up to 40 minutes per week, 4 times up to 40 minutes per week and track their food, it is just an absolute liar. If I ask them to get their phone out, if I ask them to get their timetable out from Monday to Sunday, and we actually put it on a big, whatever size that is, piece of paper, and wrote it down, and they tried to explain to me how they didn't have time, it would be an absolute shit show of an embarrassment, because there would be time absolutely everywhere. So again, what they mean is it's not a priority, and all those things come down to values. So we have to get clear on what we're valuing, what our values are. And if we value all these things that we say we do, then great, let's make sure the time matches them up. But also, if the values are really misconstrued, like the first time I did Dr. John Demartini's values test, I cried, I got upset. Because there were points when I had to admit that I'd valued clubs and partying over and above my son. It breaks my heart even to say that now, in the early years. But that's the fucking truth, guys, at that time. I made decisions at that time when that was a reality. You know, this is why I predominantly stopped DJing and stopped that life. Because there was a night when I remember when I came home, you guys who have been here a long time will remember, it was one of the best times of my life on the Friday. I had to get Simon to drive me. I was at a mastermind business event all day on Friday at the Manchester City Etihad Stadium with Russell Kane. And Russell Kane pointed me out from the crowd and called me a brick shithouse. That was one of the best moments of my life. Said, look at him, he's built like a brick shithouse. My driver then had to take me from Manchester to London. I arrived in London at about 9 o'clock. I played at Ministry of Sound with Paul van Dyk on the Friday night. I didn't even get hammered. I had a few drinks and left Ministry of Sound at about, I don't even know what time it was, about 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. Simon drove me back from London to Sheffield, and I walked through the door, and Nat said I looked like a corpse. Like, she said, have you got leathered? Are you off your head? And I went, no, I swear to God, I've had a few drinks, that's it. And she says, you look like, I've never seen you look this bad. And I'm like, well, it's hardly surprising, really. I've been up since about 4 a.m. Friday morning. It's now 9 a.m. Saturday morning, and I hadn't stopped the whole time. And my energy that day with Logan was so bad. I was tired, I was irritable, I was snappy, I didn't want to play anything at all. And I'm like, this is not fucking good enough, Lee. So then when I've done the values test, I'm like, you valued that thing over that because it had that impact on that. So you can't say you have the values of being a family man and being a great dad and doing all these things if you've hammered your energy so much through work and part of your career that you don't actually need to be doing, and that was predominantly fun, not the income leader at that point, when it's having that impact. So again, sometimes don't beat yourself up if your values don't align. Okay? Millions of people in this country value drink, drugs and parties over their kids. Millions of people in this country value cosmetic surgery over their kids. It's just the sad reality of this life. But if you are looking for long-term human behavioural change, you have to get clear on what your values are. And if your values aren't aligning with who you say you want to be, then they need changing and they need shifting. And sometimes that can't happen without actually being so honest about, do you know what, I keep talking about this health thing, but I keep drinking and I keep smoking. You know, that the values aren't aligning. So we're getting clear on that. And then after that, we discussed the second pillar of leadership. So the first pillar of leadership was values, and the second pillar of leadership was relationships. Well, not the relationship that we were talking about initially. We talked a lot about, you know, the leadership and relationships will craft the direction your life takes. But the first thing when we think about the 5 key areas of relationships is we think about the relationship with other people. And relationships with other people, you know, absolutely, as I said, it is absolutely critical to success. But you will never ever rise above your relationship with yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you don't value yourself, you don't speak to yourself kindly, good luck getting anyone else to, because that won't happen, because everything comes from within. And this is when we talked about, again, motivation versus inspiration. Inspiration, the word means in spirit. It doesn't quite match up, but in spirit. The spirit within. So if you have inspired goals and your relationships are good and you have a great relationship with yourself, you back yourself, you don't beat yourself up, you're your own best friend, you go to the love gym every morning and stand naked with your body, warts and all, telling it how much you love yourself, how incredible you are, how you've birthed children, all these things that are absolutely incredible, and you give yourself that self-love that you deserve every morning, because every single person watching this is incredible, is a miracle. But we have to master this relationship with ourselves before we start trying to master relationships with everyone else. You can't be living in this world of self-doubt, self-loathing, hating yourself, beating yourself up, all this negative pity party shit. Why does this always happen to me? I'm not good enough. Why do I always mess up? Bad things happen to good people, all that crap. No, they don't. Bad things just happen. It's not about the bad thing. It's about how you handle it. Which brings us very nicely onto today's training, which is the third pillar of leadership mastery. Who can guess what it is? Even if you guessed what it is, you're going to be wrong. Kind of. So pillar one, let me just get the chat open. So pillar one is values. Pillar two is relationships. Pillar three is meaning. But much like, my brain in order, much like the relationships was predominantly about the relationship with yourself and being your own best friend, backing yourself. You know, when you mess up, this is a great one to go back to, when you really fuck up, right? And you're hating on yourself for days, guilt, resentment, yada, yada, all that stuff. You know, let's take how I felt after that Ministry of Sound event. You know, what would your best friend say to you? Your best friend would say, listen, mate, it's happened, okay? Don't worry about it. You made a mistake. It wasn't right, but it's great that you've had that awareness, right? That made you feel that way. So all you need to do now is adapt your new behavior in line with your new insights, accept the lesson, don't beat yourself up about it, that's not going to help, and accept the lesson and the gift and move forward. Come on, I'll help you. That's what your best friend would say. Your best friend wouldn't say, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Why have you done that again? Why have you done that again? You're useless. You just make this mistake time and time again. You know, all that. They wouldn't do that, okay? So speak to yourself the way your best friend would speak to you. No one knows what meaning is. So the ability to master meaning, I think you guys, based on all the coaching I've given you, will be thinking meaning and purpose, right? Meaning and mission. Emotional leverage, the meaning behind running the marathons, the meaning behind wanting to lose weight, the meaning behind wanting to get ripped, the meaning behind wanting a new career, a new life, a new relationship. You know, using children as emotional leverage and other things in your life rather than the goal being egocentric. That is a part of it, but that's not what today's training is. So today's training is about, and again it leads nicely on from that, what you make the meaning of events in your life. Not the meaning behind chasing goals. Okay? So, drop me a yes before I come on to this bit so I've got them first. Who's ever been dumped before? If you've ever been dumped, comment yes. Obviously I haven't, because, I mean, why would anyone do that? It would be completely, no, yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been dumped. So, very often, we try to control. I'm so glad two of you have been dumped as well. Amazing. I was getting a bit worried then. So those of us who try to control people, control circumstances, control life, control reactions. Let's just turn this brightness up a little bit. There we go. um, or fight against reality, or fight against the past, or keep giving meaning to situations and circumstances that happened in the past that isn't positive, should hopefully by now have realized that that's a fight that you're never going to win. Okay? So if you're trying to control the past, if you're trying to control the future, if you're trying to control people, this is, you know, when I've often, yeah, you can see it now, look how dipped my shoulder is still. You know, if I was really just getting down about this neck and this shoulder and everything, I'm literally fighting with reality. I'm creating my own misery. I can't control it. I can't change it. There's no point in me giving any energy to the situation. I might be injured for 6 months now. I might not lose any weights, be able to lift any weights for 6 months. If I can't, whatever, cool. When I can, it will soon grow back. But we have to choose the meaning that we give to the situation. And if I get really upset about it, I'm literally creating my own misery. Why did this have to happen to me? I can't believe my neck's gone again. How is that ever going to help me move forwards when I have no control over the situation? I have no control over the circumstance. And I have no control over the future challenges that I'm going to face. Like if the scan date comes back today and we've got the scan and they say, yes, one of the discs is damaged. Yes, we're going to have to take it out. Yes, we're going to have to repair it. Yes, it means cutting your neck open again. Cool, we'll handle it because it's uncontrollable. We can't not handle it. And when you get to that point in life, that's when you'll start to feel free. And that's what leaders do. Leaders are in control of their values, they're in control of their relationships, and they're in control of the meaning that they give to situations. I will come back to why being dumped is important. It's in there somewhere. Well, it's not important, it's not very nice, but how we're going to use it as a metaphor. So leaders just surrender to these situations. Like I've surrendered to this. Like what will be, will be. Getting pissed off about it isn't going to help. But more importantly, not only do leaders understand them and surrender to them, they realise that there will be a story in it, that there will be some magic. And it's hard sometimes, you have to wait. Because if I ask myself right now, guys, right, I'm being so honest with you, I asked myself the situation last week. What's the magic in this situation that I haven't yet noticed? I can't find it yet. Because the normal magic for me would be, okay, I can't exercise, so my energy is going to be loads better because I'm not going to be tired for training, which means I can double down on business. I can't double down on business because I can barely get more than 45 minutes out of my desk before having to go lie down and rest to get rid of the pins and needles again. So at the moment it's hard because it doesn't really feel like there is magic, but there will be. I just haven't looked hard enough yet. And there will be a story. So leaders surrender to these challenges, but they also understand, and this is a great book if you haven't read it, The Obstacle is the Way, okay, by Ryan Holiday. In fact, every single book that Ryan Holiday's ever written is incredible. He's written another one called Ego is the Enemy, which is incredible as well. So whilst it's great to have goals, missions, purpose, all the things that I talk about that are so important to me, what we have to remember is that we can't control what happens in life. We can't control the outcomes. All we can control is the action. So people that, drop me a yes if this has been you, definitely been me, and drop me a yes if you know people like this in your life. People that live with this illusion, I actually call them neurotic. It's a bit of a harsh word, I think. But they literally, I've dated a few of these as well. They fucking run around thinking they can control absolutely everything and absolutely everyone. And absolutely everything and everyone that they can't control, if it doesn't fit in with their version of the world, if the person doesn't do what they say, if the person doesn't agree with everything that they agree with, then they lose their shit. And that person will always be stressed to fuck. And they always are. Because they're trying to control the past. They're trying to control the future. They're trying to control their parents, their sisters, their brothers, their friends. And as soon as they can't, and as soon as everyone doesn't fit in line with their picture of how they believe the world should be, they kick off and they get angry. Trying to control the uncontrollables. Should we change that? It's quite a good name, actually. Should we change the unbreakables to the uncontrollables? Trying to control the uncontrollables or the uncontrollable is the worst possible mistake you can make in life. But that comes down to what we give meaning to. So, who's been dumped? Yes. Who's been cheated on? Yes. That entire situations, I've only been cheated on twice that I know of. I didn't handle either situation very well. Comes down to the meaning that you give to the situation. And that's what I mean by meaning. It comes down to how you communicate it and how you communicate it to yourself, the meaning that you give to it, and how you handle it. So we can go down a line of she dumped and cheated on me because I'm not good enough, because I'm not worthy, because I'm not tall enough, because I'm terrible in bed, because my body's not good enough, because I don't have enough money, because I'm ugly, because I'm not worthy, because I'm not lovable, because I could never match up to the man that she cheated on me with, or everything in between, right? You could go on and on and on and on. That is the meaning that you give to the situation. Well, you could say, fucking hell, thank God she cheated on me and showed me what a vile person she was years before I might ever have noticed. And she's made room for my true love, who will lead to me having purpose, fulfillment, and my happy ever after. Thank God she left, Lord. Thank God she got drunk and snogged, shagged, or whatever him. Thank God that happened. Imagine if we'd have gone another 2 years down the line and then I'd found out I would have wasted 2 years of my life. This is such a fucking gift. Thank you. That is the exact same situation, and you can apply it to losing a job. You can apply it to losing a house, what happened with me here. You can literally apply this to any situation in your life. But trust me, this is what I wrote down as the insight. It's how you choose to look at the meaning of the situation that you can't control that determines the quality of your life that you live from this point onwards. I'll star that and post it in the group. One sec. Ouch. Fuck. There you go. It's now in bright pink. Yeah, Ali's like, yes, Team Pink. So, again, the self-talk, right? I feel like I've said this till I'm blue in the face, blue in the teeth, red in the face. But I'm going to keep saying it until it's beaten into you guys like a stick. We say these things all the time. Why do I always get ill? Nothing ever works out for me. No one loves me. Why does everyone leave? There was a point in my life, right? Kind of after my granddad and with everything else and after my divorce, when I'm like, I'm not going to fucking date anyone, ever. And I'm being really fucking raw and vulnerable about this now. Because I was like, what's the point? From the age of 6 months old, everyone that I've ever loved has left. So what's the point? I don't need people. I'm just gonna build this fucking wall that blocks all love coming towards me and just be okay on my own. Because what's the point? Because everyone always leaves. They don't. Just stuff happens. And you need to look at how I've changed my volume, my voice now. You just need to become passive with that. Things just happen. Like I said, there aren't good people and bad people. There's just people. They're all on their own journey. Bad things don't happen to good people. Bad things just happen to everyone. That's the meaning that the person's given to the situation. So imagine the self-talk if you were just like, oh, another person left me because I'm not good enough. Like, how long would it take you to get over that situation? You know, when you've said that every day, like, so we know this, right? Pretty much a thought that we have every day for 30 days becomes a belief. So if you think you're not good enough, you're not lovable, or any of those things for 30 days, it's going to become a belief, and it's going to take you a long time to get over it. And the reality is, this is what most people do with relationships and why they fail. This is also what most people do with coaching plans and why they fail. So their relationship ends and they go through this period. Fucking hell, this isn't even a training on relationships, but I'm going to roll with it. So the relationship ends and they get this, they meet this new person, right? And they're about to date this new person. But before they do, they make sure they get this giant fucking rucksack and they go and get all the garbage from the old relationships, all the old feelings, all the old things that happened, and they stick it all into this big rucksack. I don't know where I'm going with this. And they stick this rucksack on their back and they trot into this new relationship with this rucksack. They take exactly the same person into the new relationship and wonder why they don't get a different outcome. That's the reality of what most people do. And that's the same with coaching plans. This is why I work different. This is why you guys smash it, because we work on the mindset before. Everyone's had a fucking nutrition plan and a training plan. It didn't work. That's why they're here. And you can't take the old you, the old habits, the old behavior, the old self-loathing, the old jealousy, the old doubt, the old everything into a new relationship and expect a new outcome. You'll get the same outcome with a different person. You know, if you've been highly jealous because of the way an ex cheated on you and it really hurt you, you can't take those doubts and suspicions into a new relationship with a new person that's never had or done anything to make you feel that way. But millions of people do. The same as millions of people join my coaching plan, but deep down they believe that nothing ever works for them because everyone in their family's always been fucking fat and they've got fucking big bones or something ridiculous like that, which is the reason why they can't lose weight. Must be my fucking thyroid. Okay, because they've just taken the old them and their old beliefs into a new plan. The old person and the old beliefs into a new relationship, and they're expecting a new outcome. We have to get the stuff handled first. So, again, as I said, versus, you know, this is a clean slate. And I will be willing to be completely vulnerable and risk getting hurt because this person has done nothing to prove to me anything differently. I'm going to love like I've never been hurt. I'm not going to protect myself. If someone ends up cheating again, so fuck, cool, see ya. You know, someone ends up deciding I'm not for them and dumps me, good, so fuck, see ya. You know, it comes down, and this all comes down to meaning. If this job doesn't work out, see ya. If anything doesn't work out, that's okay. It all comes just down to the meaning that you give to it. And as I said, the meaning of, God, that company, that woman, that man, that unicorn just didn't deserve me. And by this situation that's happening, it's made room for the perfect person, the perfect career. And I'm now closer to attracting that into my life. The perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect career. But I can't keep taking the old me and the feelings around the old situations into the new one. Unless I want the same outcome, of course. Yet this is what So another great example is relationships. So that will happen. A person's been cheated on and they're very jealous. They're not willing to be vulnerable. They say things like, I can't give myself to you fully. And, I need to protect myself and all of these kind of emotions. And they take that into a person that's never done anything wrong and are projecting those same feelings. I'm sorry, I do really like you. I just struggle to let my guard down. Okay, cool. 3 months on, I've not done anything wrong. That's a bit of a fucking piss take now. But then the person will eventually just be like, well, this isn't working for me. The whole you guys know this happens, the whole checking the phone things and being suspicious and who they're following on social media and what they're liking and what they're commenting on. And, this is what people will do. They'll have the blank page of a new relationship, a new career, a new coaching plan or anything at all and take all the old bad emotions from the old thing into it and then wonder why it goes wrong quickly. We have to not do that. And that comes down to letting go of the meaning. So how different does each person's life look based on the meaning that they give to the event that's out of their control? Okay, the winners, excuse me. Oh. The winners, the people who succeed, the leaders, and as I've said, these 3 trainings are on leadership, understand this one thing that we've discussed so many times. They understand that life happens for them, not to them. If you live in a to me mentality, you are playing the victim, whether you choose to accept it or not. She did that to me. No, she didn't. She just did it. She's a cunt. Sorry. She didn't do it to you. She just did it. That company didn't do it to you. They just did it. It wouldn't have mattered any person who was in that position at that company that treated you unfairly. They would have treated the position the same way. They didn't do it to you. They just did it. So leaders live in a for me mentality. This happened for me so I could learn and grow and move forward. What was the lesson? Fucking hell, get something in my throat. The event is never in your control. What is in your control is the meaning that you give to it. And if you take one thing away from these recent trainings, make it that. The events in my life are never in my control. What is in my control is the meaning that I give to it. And what's that? That's my responsibility, which broken down is my ability to respond. Who's ever said this? Because I have. And I've heard it a million times. These 2 things, I've said one of them already. But something happens and then either you or a friend says, Jesus Christ, I must have done something really bad in a previous life to deserve this. No? Just me? Someone nod, someone drop me a yes. You've heard that phrase a lot, right? Just think about breaking it down. Fuck me, I'm in that much of a victim mindset. I'm thinking that I must have done something really bad in a life that I don't even know about, that I didn't even live, that I'm actually making up, which is an illusion. And blaming that as the reason why the thing that has just happened to me has happened. Just like why do good things always happen to bad people? Sorry, why do bad things always happen to good people? Well, they don't. Why are people taken too soon? They're not. They're just taken. We've all got our own time. By the way, that's another big reminder that we could all be dust tomorrow. So whatever you're preventing yourself from doing, just fucking do it. Swing the bat and go for it, as I've said. But yeah, you know, you hadn't done anything wrong in a previous life because that didn't exist. Bad things don't happen to good people. They just happen. You hadn't and they don't. Shit just happens and we can't control it. We can't control how long we're going to live today. We can't control how people are going to treat us. We can't control very often the house we live in, jobs, careers, relationships, or anything at all. You have to surrender to that need for control. Because if not, you're just going to be stressed all the time, like I said. Shit just happens and we can't control it. So in these situations, the person who chooses to make the meaning about them, i.e. it happened to me, rather than saying it had nothing to do with me, I can't control it, and what's the magic in this situation that I haven't yet noticed yet, is the difference between winning and losing. You either make it about you or you surrender to it and you say it wasn't about you and move forward. Because if you keep playing the victim, people will keep treating you that way. And you'll get more and more and more of it. If you keep moaning, complaining and justifying, do you really think you're going to attract the relationship that you want? The career that you want? The body that you want? The peer group that you want? The friendship circle that you want? No, you'll attract more people who want to blame, complain and justify until you can start a depression group. Because it's the energy you're around. You know, we know this, right? We are who we hang with. That's why our meetups are so powerful. By the way, the 27th of July is locked in. All abilities, no travel need, no stay over needed, unless you live a long way away. It's around about an hour from here. You can wild water swim, you can not wild water swim, you can watch. It's within everyone's ability, this. I've made it that way. So whatever's happened in the past, whatever's holding you back, relationships to fat loss, careers, being told you're not good enough, manipulative, narcissistic exes, and everything in between, you have to understand today and just, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Okay? Just let it go. By the way, that's one of my new affirmations that I love. Cover your kids' ears. But for some reason I remember it, and I said it a few times then. So fuck. It's kind of the wrong way around, and it doesn't make any sense, but this happened. So fuck. It just pacifies it. It's not in my control. You remember, if you want a more PC one, and that means is a great phrase to put after anything that happens. This person did this, and that means. Well, again, then we have the decision. We make it about ourselves, victim mode. We don't make it about anything, survivor mode. So whatever's happened, let it go. It wasn't your fault. Doesn't mean you're not good enough. You're more than good enough. You always have been. I've said it 1,000 times. But you cannot dance through life with the ball and chain of your past around your ankles. I think I'm going to write that down as a Lee Freeman as well. You cannot dance through life with the ball and chain of your past shackled around your ankles. You can't drive forwards in your car looking in the rearview mirror. What will happen? As you know, Pete did this in a car park to make me laugh and crashed his car straight into a wall. That's the extreme of a friendship, that, crashing your car into a wall to make your friend laugh. There was a parking space with a couple parked in a car to the left, and he drove along and he pretended he was eating a sandwich, looking at me, and then crashed straight into the wall. This couple were like, what the fuck? Anyway, but with that's an analogy to go back to. Am I trying to move forward in my life looking in the rear view mirror? You know, hands up if you've done that. Trying to move forward, but all I'm talking about is what's happened. So stop worrying about what's behind you. Stop worrying about who treated you what, why, and when. Because when you're so focused looking on in the past, when you're so focused giving energy to situations that you can't control and that you can't change, you're going to miss the magic that's in front of you. You're going to miss the magic of your future. So just let go of it. Stop giving any meaning to other people, their responses, their reactions, or your past. Because dragging that around with you is fucking exhausting. Do you want to go into the... So you can... This is another great phrase. So you can do the fan dance fully loaded, or you can do it clean fatigue. Clean fatigue means all you carry is your water and your food. Fully loaded means you've got a 22 kg rucksack, all your water and your food on top, and they weighed it before we started, and then a rifle as well. Do you want to go into your new relationship with or either your career, yourself, or your new partner? Do you want to go into that relationship clean fatigue, or do you want to go into it fully loaded? You want to go into it clean fatigue. It takes half the time. It's not exhausting. It's not draining. It's easy. Okay? So I promise you, taking any form of the past into the future, or saying things like I did, like I wouldn't get close to anyone because I believe the world would always take them away from me, self-limiting belief, so it's safer not to. Anything like that relating the past to the future is a one-way road to unhappiness. I promise you. And I get it though. It took me a long time, okay? So now you can make the meaning of those situations completely different. So look at how I've reframed this. I can say, let's use either my mum or my granddad as a situation. You know, the world always takes people away from me. Poor old me. Why does everybody that I love either leave or die? I know what I'll do. I'll go and have some more booze because that'll really help the situation about how I'm feeling. People have cheated on me and hurt me, so I know what I'll do. I'll not have another relationship because it's safer not to. How about making the meaning of those situations? Every single one of them showed me there is no certainty in life. Have people that have died and left us shown us how precious life is? That it could be taken like that in a heartbeat at any fucking age. My mum was 29. So maybe rather than using that as a victim mindset of life happens to me and poor old me and people never love me and people leave me and all that fucking crap that went round my head for years, wow, this situation has showed me just how precious life is. I could be dead tomorrow. Every single one of us could be dust tomorrow. So fucking go all out. Go all out for what you want. Date the girl, chase the job, quit the old job, go for the new job, move house, book the holiday. Do whatever it is you're holding back from doing. And don't allow the past to affect your decision on that. Go all out on every day like it's your last. If this was the last week of your life and you knew you weren't going to be on next Monday's live at 8 a.m, how would you live this week? How would you approach this week? What would your attitude be like? Would you maybe ask the boy or girl out and not give a fuck because who cares, you're going to be dead next Monday? Would you maybe quit your job and go for the new one because who cares, you're going to be dead next Monday? Would you maybe book the holiday because who dares, you're going to be dead next Monday? Jane, yes, I'd be on a plane to Japan with my boy. So fucking book Japan. Excuse my language. swing the bat of life like you're going to be dead next Monday. How morbid does that sound? But you know what I mean, right? And imagine living your life to the rest of the end of the world of when you die. And that line doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to carry on. Every day thinking this is the last week of my life. How exhilarating and exciting would your life be? How would you live? Like people say, love like you've never been hurt. Dance like nobody's watching. Ask the questions like the outcome has no meaning, because who cares, you're going to be dead. Take the risks. It doesn't matter what's happened, why it happens, or what's going to happen. All that happens is the meaning that you give to it. And as I said, that meaning is your responsibility, which is your ability to respond. You are in charge of the meaning you give to every single situation. You are in charge of the action you do or don't do. What you're not in charge is the situations or circumstances or other people. So let go of them and focus on what you are in control of. Because when you can't control what's happening to you, how people are treating you, or what's going on in the world, but you can control exactly how you respond to it, that's where your fucking power is at. And that's the key to living an unbreakable life. Guys, I love you all. Have a mint day.